Good morning. Welcome to Morning Java, brought to you as always by our friends at the Get Go Cafe and Market, where you can get, I'm told, 2 breakfast sandwiches for $5, Dale.
Or you can get the breakfast special, which is a coffee, hash browns, and a breakfast sandwich for $3.99.
You were over there just this week.
I stop there quite often.
I'm aware of that. It wasn't exactly a novelty. Ben Roethlisberger has seemed throughout training camp in the preseason like a happy guy, at least to my perception here. You're around them around the clock. What do you say?
Yeah, I would say so. You know, if you watch Hard Knocks, you've seen that Todd Haley's kind of the star of Hard Knocks.
For all the wrong reasons.
Todd's a very good football coach. He has a way of rubbing people the wrong way. I think he does a great job of instructing and running an offense, but he's also going to be very abrasive at times. And Ben's not a guy that always took well to coaching. I mean, he had trouble with Ken Wisenhunt. He had trouble, with some other coaches.
Everybody but Bruce, basically.
Basically.
Yeah.
So, I think, Ben came into camp. He changed his diet. He's healthier. His kids are getting older. Now they're starting to remember Daddy on the football field. You see pictures of him with the kids.
And it's his offense. That's the part that I can't. Yeah. When I'm watching he was always in charge in Latrobe, so to speak. I mean, Haley was back there and everything else here, but Ben had no issue, especially as of a couple camps ago, taking guys in after a play, especially the wide receivers, and instructing them. But now you can see him looking at all different aspects of the offense, getting really involved. The night practice at Heinz Field the other night, he was all over Jesse James.
Yeah.
Came back after a couple plays and it just went like this.
He's not afraid to chew people out.
No.
Much like
Todd Haley. The reason that any league puts in new rules or new regulations or guidelines in a preseason or exhibition environment is to test it out,
test the
see
waters.
How it goes. Oh, it's not going well. And you know what we're talking about here. It's the NFL's helmet rule.
Yeah, it's been called 51 times in the first 33 preseason games. That's about 1.5 times per game.
Which in and of itself would be okay if anyone knew why it was being called.
Right. You look at the Cody Sensabaugh play, for example. That's the only time it's been called against the Steelers.
Green Bay?
In Green Bay. And what he did there, he didn't lead with the helmet. He hit the guy with his shoulder. It looked like a perfect form tackle, exactly what you coach a defensive back to do, and they threw the flag on him. I think in some of these cases, the officials, unsure of what they're seeing necessarily, because the game is played at a high speed, throw the flag if they think that there might be some kind of collision there, and then they decide what to call after the fact.
Yeah, the leading with the head thing, though, is, as a lot of players have told you and me, it's unavoidable. I mean, think about your formation, your body position as you're going at a player to tackle him on the move. You're not waiting for them to plaster you.
Right.
You're
going to be in trouble if you do that.
Stand upright, and say, you know what? I'm going to get you with my shoulder, dude. You run right into this shoulder. You're never going to tackle anybody. Every play will be a touchdown.
Yeah, and fans are complaining about missed tackles.
Missed tackles are going to be a real thing.
They're going to be a real big problem around the league, and they already are. And the league is making it more difficult to tackle correctly because they're doing this. I understand you don't want the Ryan Shazier type tackles in the game.
Right.
You don't want guys leading with their head down. But when guys are coming in and they're making a solid form tackle, they're putting their shoulder in there, they're getting the head off to the side, it should not be a penalty.
Mike Tomlin is a member of the NFL's competition committee, and that committee will be looking at that rule again on Wednesday. We've seen football skewing younger over the years, including the draft, including the Steelers bringing in Juju Smith-Schuster at a very young age. Now we're seeing in baseball the Atlanta Braves, who are in town and are in first place, have had 3 20-year-old starting pitchers this year.
It's really amazing when you think about it. These are guys who should be sophomores, maybe juniors in college.
Yeah.
And they're out there and they're throwing innings, important innings for a contending team. And that's not always something that you've seen in the past. I mean, you would see one every once in a while. Fernando Valenzuela, if we believe his, what his age when he came up. Doc Gooden, when he came up with, I believe, was 19 or 20 years old.
Right.
But it's not been
it's
something
rare.
that's been a norm.
No, and then you have to actually go back to the like the 30s and the 40s and the 50s for when that was the norm. Baseball, I think, Dale, worked itself into its own trap over the course of the years, where they set up so many different steps and thresholds for development as you go along, where they kind of imprisoned themselves within their own system and said, well, that person is not going to make it from A to AA unless he checks off this, this, and this, and this. And I know for a fact, and I'm not isolating the Pirates on this because it's been across the board, but I know for a fact that the Pirates have this crazy checklist of things that they run you through. This kid who pitched, Bryce Wilson, the other night at PNC Park, a 20-year-old, started the year in A-ball. He just happened to pitch well.
Yeah. And that, I mean, if a guy's going well and you think his stuff will hold up.
And the poise.
And the poise is a big part of pitching. Poise is huge in pitching. I don't care what kind of stuff you have. If you lose your mind every time somebody gets a hit off of you, you can't pitch.
Or when the guy's on base. One of the things that I watched with that kid when he was facing the Pirates the other night was Gregory Polanco got on base. Polanco took second base like he was just breathing, like it was nothing. Now, is the kid going to go, oh, man, I don't belong here, or whatever? Is the catcher going to come out and visit him from behind the plate and show him up even further? The kid just looked around for the rosin bag, got back on the mound, threw the next pitch, got out of the inning. No big deal. That's poise.
Here's the thing that's happening now with baseball, Dejan, and I run a youth baseball league. But you see a lot of the better kids going and playing on travel teams, and they pitch more and more and more, and they're getting better coaching. And they're just doing it more.
They're also wearing out their arms.
They're also wearing out their arms, which is another conversation. But I understand why people would want to do that. I also understand the need for rec ball, and that's what everybody played when we were kids. You played recreational
baseball. Got together, right?
And maybe somebody's dad was the coach. Well, now you're getting training at a young age from somebody who played in college, somebody who played at the professional level, and so you gain that poise.
I'd love to see baseball become more of a younger man's game again. I hope the Braves continue to succeed in this. For anyone who doesn't know this, we shoot Java here at our offices, which are in Highmark Stadium, which is a soccer stadium. And
as close as I get to soccer.
It's as close as Dale gets to soccer. And there's actually youth soccer happening out on the pitch as we speak. The Riverhounds actually have a match Wednesday night here. As soon as you brought up youth baseball and the participation in the various forms, my mind immediately turns to soccer, because that is the direct competitor. Now, I understand they tell you, even the most elite athletes, all the athletes that you interview with the Steelers, they'll all tell you they've all played multiple sports, right, the best ones. But when it's the summertime, it's head-to-head. And how much is baseball losing to soccer?
To a certain degree, some. Here's the problem I have with youth soccer in general. By the time kids get to 10, you're either playing travel soccer or you're pretty much done. And that's a problem. You know, I didn't start playing baseball when I was a kid until I was 10.
Right.
You know, by that time now, had it been a soccer.
Yeah, me too. Actually, that was the age that I started
because
playing.
Because that's when you started playing Little League. There was really nothing there for the younger ages. Now baseball's offering that.
Ted's Golf represent, by the way.
Charlie's Pizza,
all right,
West Middlesex. But you know, everything keeps skewing younger and younger. We just talked about it with the baseball stuff. You know, now kids are starting to play these sports when they're 3 or 4, and people are trying to make a decision. Well, is he going to be a soccer player? Is he going to be a baseball player? Are you going to play basketball?
Go play.
Just play the sports. Let them play as long as they can. I'm a big proponent of that. I just let them play as long as they can.
What's concerned me about soccer is you said that basically they have to make up their minds when they're 10 as to whether or not they're going to be any good at it or not.
Kids can't make up their mind whether they're going to go to college.
The problem with that, and I'm going to say this as someone who was just in Iceland, where they developed like the ultimate system for developing soccer talent all the way through until their teen/adult years when they can be impact players. The American system is still built up as when you're in your single-digit years, it's just go kick the ball.
Right.
It's something to do. Go kick the ball. But then once you come of age, meaning 10, it's time for a real sport.
Got to play travel. Yeah.
And I don't even mean that. I'm talking about getting away from soccer because the people who are teaching it, who are instructing it, unlike in Iceland where they paid a ton of money to have elite instructors from all over the world to come in there, in the United States they're having parents say, here's a ball, go kick it. And then by the time they're 10, it's like, You done kicking the ball? All right, time to go play baseball or basketball or football or whatever, hockey, whatever it is.